Here I decided to repair this gear case. It's a larger repair, and really, in all honesty, it's much better if you can have somebody TIG weld a piece in there. But I just want to show you this an alternative way to somebody who doesn't have the means but doesn't want to pay somebody to fix it with a TIG welder, have it professionally welded. That's one thing about my job. We had a blown welding department building aircraft parts, and we had everything there. I used to stay after hours and have guys weld stuff for me. But nothing could last forever. So I'm going to prep this. The first thing I'm going to do is square it up, and then I'll show you what I do after that. I'm ready to go. So here I got the patch all prepped. What I did basically is fit the piece really nice. Left it a little bit big on the larger on the outer radius to match the outer curvature of the cavitation plate. And I also took a small little square file that I use, and I put every half inch or a quarter inch, not every half inch, but every quarter of an inch, I put a little V-groove just to help the JB Weld grip a little better. And I ground back on both sides, the top and the bottom, about a quarter of an inch, the whole length of the joint, to just ensure a little better and stronger adhesion. It should be okay. When I get this all done, I'm getting ready now. I'm going to put the JB Weld on the top first to let it set overnight. I'm using the 24-hour stuff, the stronger stuff, and then I'll flip it upside down. The bottom is just like the top, and I'll put the JB Weld on that. And I also have a piece of nylon between this aluminum plate to keep everything flush while this sets. And that's pretty much it. I've done this before in different areas, and it's worked out pretty well. And unfortunately, it's on the forward section here of the cavitation plate, but I don't think this motor is going to hit anything. And if it does, it's not a big deal. It will break off. If it's going to break, it's going to break. That's the way I look at it. But I'm going to test it, really. I'm going to hit it with a hammer and a mallet and see how strong it really is. And maybe I'll even share that with you guys. But this is the prep on the plate up to this point. I use a combination of different right angle motors, and I also use this adapter here, this 1-inch roll, to get in to some of the radiuses, because the overhang here from the water pump assembly and the casting gets in the way with some of your air tools. I also use my trusty little Harbor Freight Bauer sander, which is my friend. I think this was like $30. I tell you, I used the heck out of it. It hasn't blown up yet, so it's a couple years now. So it's already lasted its lifetime in my eyes. But I just figured I'll show you what I've done up to this point, and then I'll show you after I get the first coat of JB Weld on there. So I mixed up my JB Weld and I put it on the repair. And I let it set overnight. Now this patch I use is a lot thicker than the cavitation plate. It's probably almost a third thicker. I think this is about 1/8. So I'm going to have to, the way I have this set up with the clamps and the aluminum plate and the nylon to keep the JB Weld from sticking. I think it should work out. I'm just going to sand the top once it's all set. The bottom is flush with the aluminum to the cavitation plate, to the original cavitation plate, and that should work out just right. Well, here I got the cavitation plate all sanded and primed. I went back a few times, did a little touch up here and there. Next time I do this, I'm going to use the same thickness material. Using thicker material on the repair made it much more difficult. But all in all, I'm happy the way it came out. Once I paint it, you'll never know it was there. And being that it's more or less skims through the water instead of like a trim tab, a lot of pressure on it, I'm pretty happy that and feel pretty good about it not breaking off, unless it took a direct hit or something. But once I did the initial JB Weld fill, I went back probably 2 or 3 times, and then I trimmed the outer edge to match, and I actually blocked it with this little mini block I use with 120, and then I primed it like 2 or 3 times, and so much for this repair. So next thing what I'm going to do is bring the whole gear case